What's up, dummies? This video says 4 disturbing missing child cases. We're about to watch some of the scariest kids that have went missing. Like these are gonna be crazy ass stories. Lock in, try not to get scared. If you need some pull-ups, go put them on. I don't care, I'm not gonna judge. Let's see 4 kids that went missing.
On the 2nd of October 1999, at around 11:30 in the morning, 2 men came across a very young boy while fishing at a campsite on the Big South Trail, which is a part of the Arapahoe and Roosevelt National Forest in Colorado. And while running into a lone child in the middle of nowhere is cause for concern,
that
the
is
two
weird.
fishermen saw a group of hikers about 80 to 90 feet ahead. They figured that the child was a part of that group since after a brief conversation, the child ran off toward the group they saw. This child was 3-year-old Jared Adadero.
3-year-old? Okay, wait. If you're like in the woods and you see a 3-year-old, that's a problem. I thought he saw like an 8-year-old. Okay, sometimes 8-year-olds go in the forest and whatever, but like a 3-year-old kid that looks like this, he looks so damn cute. Bro.
And this was the last time anyone would ever see him again. To understand how a 3-year-old even ended up in that situation, we have to take a step back and examine the life of his father, Alan Adadero.
Okay.
Alan was a divorced, single father who was taking care of his 2 children, the 3-year-old son Jared and a 6-year-old daughter Jocelyn.
Okay.
Earlier that year, Alan had become deeply involved with a local religious organization known as the Christian Singles Network Group. By October, he was hosting 11 members of this group, along with his 2 children, at a resort he co-owned with his brother. On the day of the incident, the kids wanted to go on a trip to see a fish hatchery with the group. Alan was a bit reluctant at first to let them go, but ultimately caved in when members of the group assured him that they'd only visit the hatchery and come right back with the kids.
Okay.
However, for reasons that remain unclear, unbeknownst to Alan, the planned visit unexpectedly transformed into a 15-mile hike along the Big South Trail, commencing at around 10 a.m.
What the fuck, bro? So they said, "Oh, let us take your kids on a little trip. We're gonna go to a hatchery and look at some eggs and stuff like that." And he was like, fine." He ends up letting them take his kid to the hatchery to see some cool stuff, and they take a 15-mile hike. I think he said 15. 15 miles is insane. Y'all know, bro, I've done hikes before. I've done like a 3-mile hike, and that thing had me like huffing and puffing. And I'm pretty, like, I'm in shape. I'm not fat, you see? Like, I don't have a big belly, bro. And that 3 miles had me huffing and puffing. Imagine 5 times that for 15 miles. Come on, bro.
Taking 2 young kids on a lengthy hike without their father's permission, this was mistake number 1.
Yeah, come on, bro.
The second, and arguably the worst...
Also, I've been on hella hikes before, and I would not want a 3-year-old kid yapping and bapping and pooping and peeing his pants right next.
Mistake the group made was that no one took explicit responsibility for the kids. Everyone just assumed that someone else was looking after Jared and Jocelyn, when in reality no one was.
Are you kidding me?
To make matters worse, the hikers had split into 2 groups, those walking faster and those lagging behind. This separation made it nearly impossible to keep track of the kids' whereabouts.
Bro.
About an hour and a half into the hike, Jared reportedly interacted with 2 fishermen before running off towards a group of hikers. Now, this is where things get a bit murky. From what I can gather, it's unclear whether he was somewhere between the 2 hiking groups or if he had already passed them entirely. The hikers seen by the fishermen might not have even been a part of the same group.
Right.
Sadly, this was the point where Jared vanished. However, it wasn't until 12:15 p.m. that the Christian group realized that they hadn't seen him for over an hour. Panic set in, and some members of the group rushed back to the resort to inform Alan. He wasted no time, immediately driving frantically to the trail while beating his chest and saying, quote, "They lost my baby, they lost my baby." In the meantime, his resort manager filed a missing person report and got the rangers involved in the search.
Wow.
Since this was a fairly active hiking trail, the rangers in the area had plenty of experience finding missing people.
I mean,
so
yeah.
much so that the sheriff at the time stated, "Absolutely, I thought we would find him. Yes, it was a child, but my thought was we should be able to get in there with our people and do what we do and what we have done hundreds of times, find the person. It might take a few hours to find the child crying or hiding someplace nearby, but we would be done before midnight."
Don't tell me he was
He even
never
instructed
found.
his subordinates to wake him up when they found Jared, but the news never came. After almost a full day of searching, Jared remained missing and the hopes of finding him alive began to wane. Things went from bad to worse when the helicopter that was searching for Jared stalled 100 feet in the air and crashed, injuring all 5 of its passengers.
Are you serious?
By October 7th, over 200 professional searchers, a dozen dog teams, professional trackers, a dive team, and a plane were doing everything they could to locate Jared.
They had the whole state out there looking for him. Please tell me they found him, bro. What could this kid be doing?
Or at least find some clue that could answer his mysterious disappearance. Tragically, after 5 grueling days with no leads, the search for Jared came to a heartbreaking halt on the 8th of October. It became a massive story in the media and even led to the Colorado governor signing the Amber Alert plan into law. Jared's case, however, remained completely cold. That is, until June 4, 2003, when 2 hikers named Gary Watts and Rob Osborne found some tattered clothes and a sneaker about 500 feet above Jared's last known location. The pair already knew about his disappearance, so they instantly made the connection and contacted the authorities.
They found pieces of his clothing 500 feet higher than when he was last seen, which means this kid was climbing up a mountain? What the hell was he trying to do?
What followed was a more thorough search of the area. And 10 days later, searchers made a grim discovery, a molar and a part of a human skull. DNA tests confirmed what Jared's family feared.
Damn.
These remains were his.
Damn.
They also confirmed that the clothing belonged to him, the
Damn.
same clothes Jared wore on the day he disappeared.
Damn, bro, that's a fresh outfit, bro.
After nearly 4 years of his disappearance,
Look at
Jared's
that.
family finally had some closure.
Oh, he was found 4 years later, bro.
But even with these new discoveries, the question remains, what really happened to Jared? The most straightforward explanation is that he wandered off in the mountains, got lost, and eventually succumbed to hypothermia.
Oh,
But there's a problem with that theory. The spot where his clothes and remains were found is nearly inaccessible. It's extremely steep and rocky terrain that would be challenging for an adult to navigate, let alone a 3-year-old child. The most
weird.
plausible theory is that he was attacked by a cougar. These animals are native to the area, and while they rarely attack humans, a small child could easily become a target. During the investigation, some of the hikers in the 11-member group also reported hearing a distant scream during that time, including Jared's sister Jocelyn. So, if the cougar theory is true, it would explain both the scream and how Jared's remains got so far from his last known position.
Oh, okay, so maybe like a cougar or a jaguar or a black panther or something took his ass. Took him up to, oh my
And
God,
while it is pretty
bro.
convincing, there are some inconsistencies in the animal attack premise that I find difficult to justify. For starters, researchers did not find any blood or cougar remains like hair on Jared's clothes.
Oh, then there's no way. There's no way a cougar got him. If there was no blood, no cuts, no even hair from the cougar, there's no
How can
way.
that be possible?
Right.
What's even more puzzling is that Jared's pants were inside out when they were found in the forest. I can't think of any logical way a cougar, or any animal for that
That cougar, but bro, you really think the cougar took him up there and started folding his clothes? Hell no.
matter could turn a pair of pants inside out. Not to mention the fact that the pair of sneakers they found were in excellent condition, considering they would have gone through 4 winters in the Colorado mountains. All of this points to a far more disturbing theory, according to which Jared was actually abducted and later killed by another person. And the reason his sneakers were in such good shape was because the kidnapper likely scattered Jared's remains on the mountain years after the incident. I realize this is a horrifying thought, but it's really the only plausible explanation that accounts for all these strange details. Unfortunately, even with all the evidence we have, Jared's case remains as much of a mystery today as it was the day he disappeared.
Bro.
And the truth of what happened to him may never be
Man,
known.
Rest in peace to him, bro. He seemed like a cool ass kid. Man. Oh man.
Paulette
Alright.
Gabarra Farah.
Palagabera
On the
Farah.
21st of March 2010, the Gabarra family returned from a trip to their home in Mexico. That evening,
Mexico, bro. Yep. See, Mexico, stuff be happening in Mexico. I've been there a couple times. I'm lucky to be back.
the parents tucked their 2 daughters into bed, unaware it would be the last time they'd see one of them alive.
What? They tucked their 2 daughters into bed, and they didn't know it would be the last time they'd see one of them alive. Imagine putting your kids to sleep and one of them, you never see him again. What? I gotta hear
The
about
following
this.
morning, the family's nanny, Erica, entered 4-year-old Paulette Gabarra Farah's room to
Oh,
wake her,
man,
only to
she's so
find the
cute.
bed empty. She could not find the 4-year-old girl anywhere in her room. She turned everything upside down while searching for Paulette before finally alerting the mother of the kids, Lizette Farah. Lizette quickly informed the authorities, and they started investigating the little girl's disappearance almost immediately. However, this case was unlike anything they had seen before.
Yeah, where'd she
Paulette
go?
had severe physical disabilities, so she couldn't have gone
Oh.
anywhere on her own.
Wait, hold on. This just makes it even creepier, bro. She had a physical disability, which means like she can't walk very fast or like she wasn't super strong. You know how some kids have like, cerebral palsy? I don't know what the hell that is, but like the things where they can't move very well. So there's no way she could have ran away from home. Plus she's like 4 years old. How's she going to run away from home? Someone captured her, bro.
But the investigators didn't find any evidence of someone breaking into the house and kidnapping her either.
So there's no evidence of anybody taking her, but there's no way she could have left. Did she just explode?
It was as if she had vanished into thin air.
Literally.
So, after exhausting all of her options, the Attorney
The hell
General's
does that
office
say?
quickly put together a poster explaining Paulette's situation and plastered it everywhere in the region.
My God.
Lizette's sister, Arlette, also posted a few pictures on social media. Surprisingly, these social media posts went super viral, turning the disappearance of Paulette into a national headline.
I don't know what that
In the
says.
evening, Lizette even released a message on television to the potential abductors, asking them to return her daughter. She claimed that they could leave Paulette in a shopping center or some other crowded place, and the family would not press any charges against them. Sadly, none of these efforts amounted to anything.
Bro, look how cute this little girl is, bro. And just to hear that she had physical, disabilities, bro. Imagine, okay, I'm just talking for myself. I bet most of you watching this are young, so you can't relate to what I'm about to say. But, I'm imagining if I had a daughter and she was, physically, handicapped. Look, I would protect my daughter with, my whole heart, especially if she was handicapped, bro. I'd be it'd be my life mission to, make sure nobody mess with my daughter because she can't do stuff for herself. So I would take care. Damn, that just makes me mad, bro. This also looks like my sister, how she looked when she was younger. So I kind of feel connected, bro. I love my sister. Oh my God. I really hope this girl's found.
That is
by the
until
end of
9
this
days
story.
later, on March 31st, when the little girl's lifeless body was discovered back where it all began, her own room. It was stuck but
Did I just hear that right? Let me just rewind.
anything.
What?
That is until 9 days later, on March 31st, when the little girl's lifeless body was discovered back where it all began, her own room.
I don't got anything to say.
Was stuck between the mattress and the foot of the bed.
No.
On the surface, this should have been the end of Paulette's case. However, the inconsistencies surrounding her disappearance were too significant to ignore.
She was stuck between the bed and the bed frame and nobody noticed? Oh! No, there can't be. Somebody had to set that up.
For starters, how is it possible that no one noticed the little girl's body just feet from where she was supposed to be asleep?
Yeah.
The Gabara house was investigated by professionals who also used highly trained dogs. How could they miss something so obvious in their search?
Yeah, if they had canine dogs sniffing for this girl, they would have been like, she's right here! And plus, that little girl is too young. She probably pooped herself or peed herself. They could have smelled the shit in the room. Okay, I'm just thinking, but you know what I'm saying.
Most importantly, how did no one who visited her room notice the smell? As a comment
I
on
just
YouTube
said that.
mentions, I found a body once. It was in a basement apartment and we went to do a checkup on her due to a smell complaint. Flies were everywhere and they were huge. The smell was thick and it stuck to everything. It was a hot and humid summer. She had been dead for 3 days. There is no way that Paulette was in that room for 9 days
Yeah.
and no one noticed.
Yo, you gotta investigate the parents for real. Cause this dude just said he found a body before. It was only 3 days and it smells so bad. But in this story, the little girl Paulette was only in the room for 9 whole days and nobody noticed. Yeah,
The
right.
smell of death literally gets everywhere. Now, if the room was immediately taped off after Paulette's disappearance, all of this could have been potentially explained as nothing more than incompetence by the investigators.
There's no way.
But
they
in
missed.
reality, the room had many visitors in the days after the incident, including guests who slept in that same bed for multiple nights.
What? So you're telling me people came over? Okay, I kind of understand it. Like, people are like, oh, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry for your loss. Like, people came over to, help the people. And then they slept in the little girl's bed. There's no way that little girl was actually right there the whole time. There's no way you go sleep on a bed and there's a dead person right next.
Lizette even gave an interview sitting on top of the bed where Paulette's body was later found. How did she not notice? The only logical explanation for all of these questions is that Paulette's body wasn't under the mattress during the initial searches. Instead, it was placed there later by someone, possibly one or both of her parents.
Yup!
According to the official coroner
Low
report,
key! Earlier, I peeped something. Hold on. Earlier, when I saw her mom in the TV,
led in a shopping center or some other.
This kind of caught me off guard.
In the evening, Lizette even released a message on television.
I don't know. She's blinking a little hard and stuff. Like, I don't know. It caught me off guard. I think it's the parents.
According to the official coroner report, Paulette moved onto the bed on her own and fell headfirst into the gap between the mattress and the frame. There, she asphyxiated and passed away before her nanny, Erica, came looking for her in the morning.
I mean, it kind of makes sense because, like, they said that she was physically disabled, so, like, she could have fell into, like, her bed and then be like, and, like, nobody could hear her because, like, maybe her face was in the thing and she can't move. That's so sad. But I think it's the parents, bro. I hope they found that the parents...
But the evidence contradicting this official statement is a bit overwhelming. For instance, when the rescuers found Paulette, she was wearing dark trousers with a pink giraffe pattern. However, Lizette clearly showed the same trousers just days earlier while showing Paulette's belongings during an interview.
Yep. This is... Nope. This is... Yeah. This is... Nah. This is... She's literally holding the same... So this little girl was found wearing these pants, but her mom, a couple of days before, was folding these pants. No, that... I hate... How can you have children and do that? It's just making me mad, bro. I'm about to start raging right now. I need to chill. I need to chill.
What's even more concerning is that during the official video where the authorities found the body, the investigators also uncover multiple bloodstains hidden in the sheets, some of which were the size of a soccer ball. At one point during the video, one of the investigators even remarks that they, referring to the parents, were beating up the kid. Despite this, the official report completely ruled out physical abuse and mysteriously made no mention of the bloodstains.
How did the official report not even mention blood? If somebody dies, you have to mention the blood. Come on.
When this came out, it caused great outrage in Mexico, leading to Alberto Bazbaz resigning from his position as Attorney General of the state of Mexico. From what I've read on this incident, everything about this case suggests a cover-up by the authorities. It's possible one or both of the parents accidentally killed Paulette while attacking her and came up with an elaborate scheme to hide their crime while also farming media attention. And for this to work, someone high up must have been in on the scheme.
Yeah.
Of course, all of this is merely conjecture on my part, as there's no evidence to prove any wrongdoing by either of the parents.
No way.
Unfortunately, we'll likely never learn what happened to poor Paulette on that night. Unless, of course, someone with insider knowledge decides to come forward. Though, after 14 years, that seems increasingly unlikely.
That's just so, like, they obviously did it. The parents obviously...
Said, if the parents were the ones who caused this tragedy, they wouldn't be the first, because something very similar happened in this next case.
Another case that's similar to the... Oh my God.
Lucy Meadows.
What's wrong with parents?
On July 25th, 1996, Jan Meadows visited the Rivergate Mall in Goodlettsville, Tennessee to sell some crafts at a flea market.
Okay.
After parking her car, she opened the back door to let her 3-year-old daughter Lucy out of the car. She then went to the passenger side of the car to retrieve some crafts she was going to sell. But when she came back around to the other side, her daughter was gone.
Nope.
She immediately contacted mall security and they conducted a thorough search of both the mall and the area surrounding it, but Lucy was nowhere to be found.
What?
Over several weeks following the incident, police dedicated hundreds of hours, interviewing 100 witnesses and relatives, following up on tips, speaking with parents of children resembling Lucy, and reviewing surveillance footage from the parking lot. Though the surveillance video was too distant to reveal any clues, it captured Jan Meadows wandering the lot, seemingly looking for someone. However, even after all this effort, they didn't find a single clue that could lead to Lucy's current whereabouts.
So you're telling me this girl pulled up to the mall with her daughter. She opens the door for her daughter. Then she goes back around to the other side of the car to get something out of the back seat. Then when she goes to talk to her daughter's gone. Like, in the span of 20 seconds? Yeah, right.
But things were about to get much more disturbing when police started investigating Jan.
Yeah, investigate
For
Jan.
some context, Jan was a Korean immigrant who had separated from her husband Tom and was living with another Korean woman, Hyeon S. Dai, also known as Tammy. And
That girl's name is Hyeon S. Dai, but she's known as Tammy. That's like my name being DJ, but people call me Bob. What the fuck?
in her original statement,
This is
Jan
serious.
claimed that she had only looked away for a few seconds, and that was all it took for Lucy to disappear.
She said she opened the door and walked around to the trunk, and then the daughter disappeared.
Yeah, right.
But after a couple of weeks, she changed her story and said that she might have been busy for 10 to 15 minutes.
She's a liar. She's a liar. She's a liar. Put that girl in
This
jail.
is a massive difference.
That is huge.
As the lead investigator at the time pointed out, if they had known the time frame for the disappearance was 10 to 15 minutes instead of under a minute, they would have searched more extensively from the start. This sudden change in story also put Jan as a prime suspect in Lucy's disappearance.
She better go to jail
They
for
put
life.
Jan under 2 polygraph tests, and she failed both of them.
They did 2 lie detector tests and she failed both. Send this girl to jail.
After which, she became reluctant to talk with the investigators. During this time, a neighbor also reported seeing the 3-year-old Lucy wandering outside early one March morning, not dressed for the weather and crying. Police also questioned her housemate Tammy, whose statement didn't fully align with Jan's story, making the whole situation even more suspicious. Police and the FBI then carried out an extensive search of the Meadows house,
Yeah, search
farm,
the house.
and the surrounding area.
Search it all.
However, they didn't find any evidence against Jan or Tammy, and the case
What?
was left wide open with no leads for the next 18 years.
Bro, look at this. This is what she looked like. This is what she could look like. She'd be 27.
But then in November of 2004, a witness came forward. He claimed he
8
saw Lucy
years
lying
later?
on the floor at home wrapped in a blanket and looking like she could have been dead a day before her supposed disappearance. And while the police never released the name of this witness, I believe it was Daniel, Tammy's son, who would have been 11 years old at the time of the incident. If we take his testimony as truth, many of the inconsistencies in Lucy's case began unraveling. Lucy was likely already dead before her alleged disappearance on July 25th. Jan disposed of her body somewhere and then made up this abduction story to cleverly mask the truth. As for who killed Lucy, it could be Jan, it could be Tammy, or both.
Come on,
And the cause of
bro.
her death could range from extreme neglect to overwhelming abuse.
Are you telling
We
me
have no way
they
of
don't
knowing.
know?
And if Jan and Tammy have managed to hide the truth for over 28 years, it's
Are you
unlikely to
telling-
confess anytime soon.
Wow.
That said, the case is still open at the Goodlettsville Police Department. Who knows, maybe we'll see another witness come forward sometime in the future.
Man, really, I want to be able to find these things, bro. I want to be like, I want to go to this city and go like to the woods or whatever, or like water and dive and look for her bones, bro, because I know her mom killed her, bro. I want to bring justice. Man,
Sabrina Eisenberg.
Sabrina,
Sabrina, come crawl to mommy.
oh my
Come
gosh.
here.
They have
Come here,
videos.
gorgeous.
This is the first video Florida couple Steve and Marlene Eisenberg recorded of their nearly 5-month-old daughter, Sabrina. What they didn't know at the time was that this was also going to be the last.
No.
A day after this video, on the 23rd of November 1997, the couple
One
watched a
day
Disney movie
after?
with their 3 kids and tucked them into bed. Marlene later checked up on her daughter around midnight before going to sleep. But when she woke up the next morning, she was greeted with a tremendously frightening sight.
And as I turn around and I look and notice my laundry room door out to my garage is opened. And then as I get closer, I'm looking now out to the street and seeing that my garage door is up. So now I'm just looking straight out to the street.
She immediately rushed to Sabrina's bedroom, which was the closest to the garage. Unfortunately, it was already too late.
I ran into the first bedroom, which is Sabrina's room. And I look in the crib and Sabrina's gone. And I scream.
This shook Marlene to her core, which is quite apparent from her disturbing 911 call.
Oh god.
911. Hello. I need to believe. My baby's been kidnapped. All right, man, need to calm down. Okay.
Shut up.
Take a deep breath. What's your
Stop
baby?
saying
Say,
calm down.
I just got up to wake my son up. My garage door was wide open. My thing, my house to my door was wide open, and my baby's gone out of the crib. How old is your baby? My baby is 5 months old.
Oh my god.
Oh God, help me.
Upon closer inspection, the couple found out that Sabrina's disappearance was partially their own fault. They had forgotten to close the garage door the night before. As the police got involved, they started a manhunt for the supposed kidnapper, which ended up being the largest manhunt in Florida history at the time.
Whoa.
Investigation of Sabrina's room revealed a mysterious footprint and some unidentified fingerprints near her crib. Now, this should have been the proof that someone had already kidnapped little Sabrina. However, cops were struggling to find any other lead or evidence that could lead them to the perpetrator.
Don't you got a footprint?
Instead of continuing their search outward, they shifted their focus inward, turning their attention to Steve and Marlene.
Okay, it wasn't the parents. I can just tell with this story, it wasn't the parents. You can kind of tell when people are being genuine. At least I feel like I can. That 911 call was real. She was like, ah!
The idea that someone could have walked into a suburban home in the middle of the night, plucked a 5-month-old child out of her crib, obviously raised a lot of suspicion around the Eisenbergs.
I mean, I guess.
It's unusual for a true kidnapping. A lot of times they find out that it's someone the family knew or had knowledge of, and that's part of the leads we're looking at.
Sabrina's parents were now lead suspects in the case of their own missing daughter. They were summoned for extensive interviews on multiple occasions and were also instructed to take polygraph tests. And while Steve passed his tests, the results for Marlene's tests came out inconclusive due to the stress she was under.
Okay, that's plenty of proof to know that they did not do it. The dad passed. She was passing but not passing at the same time, but dude, that's your baby. You just gave birth to that mother trucker 5 months ago. You just held that mother trucker in your belly for
It seemed like the higher-ups had already made up their mind about Steve and Marlene being the perpetrators, and were just trying to find any evidence that could support this conclusion.
It wasn't
At one
them.
point, they even instructed Marlene to appear cold and uncaring on TV, and then used that to question the legitimacy of her feelings for her daughter.
What?
Please bring our baby back to us. She needs her mother and her father, and we all miss her and love her very much, and we need her to come home to us, please.
It backfired because the perception was that they were cold.
Marlene was seen by some as being not authentic, unemotional. Law enforcement seemed to focus in on that
Bro,
display.
get down, bro.
It took all the strength that I had to say what I said, and then the minute I was done, I broke down in tears. Okay, hysterical. But of course, the cameras were not put on me then.
It got to the point where Steve and Marlene were no longer interested in talking to the police and hired an attorney to act as a shield. However, this only made things worse for the Eisenbergs, because on December 12, 1997, law enforcement successfully received the court's permission to install hidden listening devices in their home. These
What?
devices remained active for almost 3 months and captured over 2,600 conversations between the couple. To build a case against Steve and Marlene, claiming that they had found evidence of the couple admitting to Sabrina's murder.
They found
These
evidence?
alleged transcripts included statements like, on December 23, 1997, Marlene said to Steve, "The baby's dead and buried. It was found dead because you did it. The baby's dead. No matter what you say, you just did it." To which
What?
Steve responded by saying, "Honey, there was nothing I could do about it. We need to discuss the way that we can beat the charge. I will never break from the family pact and our story, even if the police were to hold me down. We will do what we have to do."
Are they sure he said
On January
that?
21, 1998, Steve said, "I wish I hadn't harmed her. It was the cocaine." And 10 more counts of similar incriminating statements. They also used these as evidence to break into the Eisenbergs' home and arrest the couple. However, when the cops presented this evidence in court, the judge was unable to make out the phrases that were claimed to have been said. The entire case was dismissed, and Steve and Marlene even won a counter lawsuit which made the government pay their attorney fees for the bogus
Wow.
lawsuit. And from my research, I'm fairly confident that Steve and Marlene were likely not the reason behind their daughter's disappearance.
Yeah, I don't think so.
One of their old neighbors also came to their defense in a YouTube comment which read, "I lived about a half-mile from the Eisenbergs at the time of this tragedy.
Okay.
We also had a 6-month-old baby boy at the time. I never so quickly moved my son's crib into our master bedroom for a month or so after that happening. Personally, after hearing so very much about the case, and I actually knew someone who knew the mom, these folks could not have done it. They were genuinely wonderful parents and a decent, normal family. My heart goes out to these people to this day. Our son is 25 now. Sabrina would be 25 years old this June. So sad." Sadly, while the police focused on blaming Steve and Marlene, the real perpetrator continued to slip further from their grasp.
See, that's the thing. They spent so much time thinking that it was the parents, and they allowed the actual person who took the baby to just get away. What's up, dummies? Today we're about to look at some YouTubers who went missing. This is the video right here. YouTube channels that were abandoned for crazy reasons. So these people went missing, and there's crazy reason behind it. Let's watch this. This is gonna be insane. All right, let's
Eastman
check
was
it.
a 26-year-old man from Vermont, USA.
All
He
right.
spent most of his early years in the tiny town of Heinsberg.
Okay.
Life there was calm and peaceful, but with a population of less than 600 residents, it was also quite boring.
Damn.
Elliot wanted to do something more with his life. So, with his love for nature and exploration in mind, he saved up some money and traveled to the Philippines near the end of 2023.
Okay.
He wanted to slowly make his way through the entire country and witness its beauty firsthand. But just a couple months into his trip, he met a local woman named Carisha Jayla. The two started dating and got married just a few months after that, in July of
What?
2023.
What?
Then, in January 2024, Elliot started posting videos on YouTube documenting his life in the Philippines with his wife. His
Okay.
videos were simple, without any over-the-top music or crazy editing effects, but they felt authentic and real, allowing him to amass a small but dedicated fan base.
Okay,
So his
7,000
content
subs,
took a
not
massive
bad.
shift in May 2024 when he decided to move to the beachside village his wife was from in the Cebuco municipality. Unfortunately, it wasn't long before this spiraled into the worst decision he'd ever make.
Oh god.
You see, Cebuco is part of what's known as the Red Zone in the Philippines. Put simply, this is the most dangerous section of the country, especially for
Oh.
foreigners. Armed
Oh,
robberies,
no.
kidnappings, and even murders are not uncommon in this region, with
Oh,
over 40
no.
Westerners going missing there in just the last decade. However, Elliot was well aware of this fact, as evident from his channel's description, which read,
Okay.
I'm Elliot Eastman. I am 26 years old and I came to the Philippines about a year and a half ago, where I met the love of my life deep in the mountains of the Red Zone of the Philippines.
Okay.
I will be showing you my day-to-day life as the first and only foreigner to have ever lived here in Cebuco for a long period of time. He mentioned the danger in some of his
Huh.
video titles as well. But despite the threat to his life, he still wanted to build a life in Cebuco.
So basically, this guy met his wife when he traveled. He met her, got married. Then he moved to the most dangerous part of the Philippines, where a lot of people that are from like the United States and stuff, they don't live there because it's dangerous. But he said he don't care. He doesn't care that it's dangerous, so he's gonna live there. And something's about to happen. That's why he's in this video. Oh,
So he rented an apartment and even built his own grocery shop near the beach, all while documenting the entirety of his journey on YouTube.
okay.
Now, there were times when he felt threatened and had to hide from some locals to avoid getting in serious trouble. But despite the somewhat dire circumstances, Elliot was enjoying his time in Cebuco and slowly building the
Looks
life
beautiful.
he wanted. However, just when things were starting to look up for Elliot, tragedy struck. The incident took place on the night of October 17th, 2024, when, after doing several short live streams throughout the day, Elliot went offline and sat for dinner with his wife and her parents. But then, a few minutes later, 4 men with guns barged into their home and started telling Elliot to go outside.
No.
These men were also wearing outfits similar to those of the Filipino police, likely in
What?
hopes of making Elliot more cooperative. Elliot, however, saw through their disguise and tried to run away. Unfortunately, that's when things went from bad to worse.
No.
One of them opened fire and ended up shooting Elliot twice, once in the leg and once in the abdomen. They then dragged him onto the speedboat they had docked near their home and sped off into the darkness. This was the last time anyone saw Elliot alive. By the
Huh?
time the police launched a search and rescue mission, the kidnapper's boat was nowhere to be found. The investigation then went on for nearly a month until the 12th of November. But when the police eventually located the kidnappers, they were forced into a shootout, resulting in 3 of the 4 culprits losing their lives. And while they did manage to arrest the last kidnapper, it was already too late. According to the kidnapper, Elliot succumbed to his injuries when he was on the speedboat.
Oh, man.
So the kidnappers simply threw his body overboard to hide the primary
Oh.
evidence of their crime.
Bro, what?
Unfortunately, the police were unable to locate his remains and pronounced him officially dead in December of 2024.
Are you kidding me,
However,
bro?
one question still remained unanswered. Why? Why did these 4 criminals target Elliot?
Yeah.
Well, the simplest explanation is also the most likely one. They just wanted to kidnap him for ransom. Carisha even had a first-hand experience with this, as back in high school, one of her Canadian classmates was kidnapped and held for a ransom of $50,000 US.
Wow.
That said, there's also a second potential explanation that has to do with Elliot's side business. You see, while operating his grocery store, Elliot also started lending the locals money for 20% interest. A local loan shark likely saw him as a competitor and sought to eliminate Elliot before he took away any more of his business. This would also explain why the intruders were so quick to open fire if they wanted to hold him for ransom.
Come on.
Regardless of their motive, the end result was the loss of a young
Damn,
man
this
trying
is
to make a
sad.
life for himself with his wife in a foreign land. His
Wow.
YouTube channel now sits abandoned, with its many uploads remaining as proof as the life he once lived.
Wow. Bro. Yeah, as you can see, this is his channel right now. I'm on his channel. So he's literally, like, he's passed away, bro. He fell in love with a lady that he met in the Philippines. He moved to, like, a bad part of the area because she lived there. Like, she was born there. She wanted to move there. He moved there. He didn't care. He says he's the first and only foreigner to live in Cebuco for a long period of the time. Basically, most foreigners don't move there because they try to kill foreigners. And this is his last video. In his last video, he's eating noodles and stuff. Bro, what? That's really sad, but we gotta see the other ones.
Benjamin Pardun, known online as Warner the Goobermeister, was a
What?
comedian creator on YouTube who primarily focused on creating a genre of memes known as YouTube poops, which is a subgenre of online humor that revolves around taking clips from other shows, usually cartoons, and editing them to have a bizarre, often nonsensical tone.
Okay.
Over time, Benjamin's channel had amassed over 8.7 million views,
Nice.
making him a well-known name in the YTP community. But after his upload on December 21st, 2021, he suddenly vanished from the internet, leaving his fans wondering what could have happened. Unfortunately, the reason for his disappearance was far more tragic than simply getting bored and moving on from the channel, as most of his
man.
audience had assumed.
Dude,
The
it's so
incident-
crazy. Like, I know that YouTubers disappear every single day. Like, I could easily die, like, tomorrow. Who knows? But, like, dude, it's just sad, like, seeing YouTubers who post videos and people who love these YouTubers just dying one day.
Place on the 27th of January 2022, when
this
his older
him?
brother Chris tried to contact him many times but didn't hear back.
Okay.
Left with no other option, Chris called the police at around 8 p.m. to check on his parents and little brother. When the officers arrived at his house, the lights were on, but no one was answering the door. After repeated knocks, the officers knew something was off, so they decided to break in.
Ooh.
But nothing could have prepared them for the horrific scene they saw behind that door.
Oh, no.
Inside, they found the bodies of Benjamin and his parents, all with visible gunshot wounds. However, what looked like a robbery gone wrong turned out to be far more tragic. According to the investigation, both Benjamin and his mother Deborah were shot by his father that evening,
Oh my
who, after
God.
committing the crime, decided to end things for himself
Oh
as
my
well.
God,
The news of
dude.
this incident was a massive shock for Benjamin's viewers,
Bro, come
as he
on,
never
bro.
mentioned any family troubles before.
So this kid was the YouTuber who was making, like, edits and stuff, and people really liked his funny videos. He was a kid, bro.
Chris later set up a GoFundMe page in November of
Look at him.
2022, which not only allowed Benjamin's fans to support the only living member of his family, it also gave some insight into what might have happened.
Dude, I didn't even realize it. This Benjamin kid, his brother, was the only one left alive, bro. Imagine, so this guy so the family had a mom, a dad, and 2 sons. The son died, the mom died, and the dad died. Imagine your whole family's just dead, and you're the only one left. Oh my
He was born in
God.
2005 and was soon diagnosed with autism.
Oh,
This
he
made
had
it difficult for him
autism.
to interact with people in person. Because of this, he was homeschooled, and at just 8 years old, he started uploading on YouTube, hoping to
Wow.
make friends and find a sense of community.
So,
Sadly, Benjamin's
post on
condition was far
YouTube.
from the only challenge their family had to face. Deborah was also suffering from nerve damage after an accident, and the father, Gregory, had also gotten in a car accident in the past and could barely walk. On top
Oh,
of that, the
man.
family was also struggling with severe financial issues, which could explain why Gregory felt the need to take such a drastic measure, seemingly out of nowhere. As Chris puts it, "My dad was a proud man. He was ashamed to ask or seek out help." Although Benjamin's content was somewhat niche, it left a big impact on those who came across it, with some even uploading new videos in his style to keep his memory alive.
wow. That's nice of people, bro. All right, this next
Harley
one will
Dilly
be
was a
crazy.
YouTube channel run by a 14-year-old teenager from Ohio with the same name.
Huh.
He created the channel in 2013 to share his love of
Playing
gaming,
Madden
specifically the sports game Madden, with others. He also uploaded vlogs on YouTube, where he talked about anything that was on his mind that day. But for Harley himself, these were more than just videos. They were one of the many forms of escape he had from his troubled life.
Oh,
You see,
God.
Harley suffered from oppositional defiant disorder and was also diagnosed with high-functioning autism. This resulted in him getting into heated arguments with his parents quite often and subsequently ending up in a worse situation. In one instance, he even posted a video talking about how he was locked
I'm
out of the house
scared?
after an argument with his mother, titled, "I'm Scared."
Oh,
Hey
God.
guys, what's up? It is Harley Dilly. Probably one of my worst days in my life. I was at school and I was science test. I finished it and my computer says 1% battery left. So I get to the next class and I put it on charger as quick as possible, but it didn't charge. None of the computers would take a charge. So I took it back and I had to fill out a complaint, and that's one of the most expensive parts of the computer. And my mom said she's not paying anything. We argued for about a good 5 minutes. Then she snapped. She said she was gonna call the police, and she said she already did. And she locked me out of the house. So right now I'm outside. Yep, the house is locked.
What's
it is
wrong with his
3:30.
mom?
I haven't ate anything, and I still haven't even got to get my work done. My mom's gone. She
What's
won't
wrong with
answer the
his
phone.
mom, bro? Kicking
There
the
were also
kid out of the
allegations
house?
of some of his family members being physically
I see
aggressive
why.
to him. But despite all this, Harley was still a cheerful kid who wanted nothing more than to play Madden and grow his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this ambition was tragically cut short on
No.
December 20th, 2019,
No.
when Harley went to school and never came back. The day had started off rough. Harley was still upset after arguing with his parents the night before, as they had refused to replace his broken smartphone. He also didn't want to go to school that day. But his mother Heather woke up early that day and, after some more arguing, convinced him to go. He left his house just before 7 a.m., but he was somehow absent from school and didn't return home that evening either. Harley had disappeared without a trace. Surprisingly, his family didn't report him missing until 11:50 p.m. on December 21st, nearly 43 hours after he vanished.
What? This kid went to school. This kid, so his parents thought he went to school, but then he never went to school that day. He didn't come home that night. Then he wasn't home all day the next day, and then they reported him missing the next night. If my kid didn't come home from school, I'm figuring it out. It almost took 3 days for them to report him missing. The family's weird, bro.
Their explanation for the delay was simple. According to them, Harley had spent the night at friends' houses without telling them before, usually after an argument. They assumed this time was the same. However,
I mean, still, you gotta check in on your kid, bro. You still gotta at least be like, okay, are you at your friend's house? Like, I'm not gonna be a strict parent. I'm not gonna be like an over parenter where I'm like, oh, you can't go here, go here. Like, I want my kid to tell me where they're at all times. I just need to know where they're at, and then I'm cool with it. If you want to go down to the damn park, cool, but just let me know so I know where you are, bro.
Been more wrong. Something that became increasingly clear as the police investigation dragged on for days without uncovering a single clue about his whereabouts.
What?
The only thing they found was this low-resolution picture of Harley going to school that was taken from a neighbor's security camera.
Wow, that was
and
the last
that was it.
picture of him?
Eventually, many other organizations, including the FBI, joined the search as well. They also distributed his missing posters nationwide and offered an $18,000 reward, hoping to receive any information that could lead them in the right direction. Unfortunately, although they received numerous tips, none led to any significant progress in the case. That is until the 13th of January, over 23 days after Harley went missing, when
23
the investigators
days.
made the big discovery. They were recanvassing the area immediately surrounding Harley's home when one of the investigators decided to check out the vacant house directly across from the Dilley residence. This was a summer home and was fully locked at the time. There was also no indications of anyone breaking into the home. However, the investigators had looked everywhere else to no avail. This was one of their last options. So they acquired the key to this home and started looking around. They didn't find anything on the ground floor, but as soon as they climbed the stairs, one of them noticed a maroon puffer jacket lying on the ground, the same jacket that Harley was wearing on the morning of his disappearance. As they got closer, they also noticed his glasses lying on the floor as well.
What?
But there were no signs of Harley anywhere. Both the glasses and the jacket had also collected plenty of dirt, indicating that they must have been there for a long time. While they were looking around, one of the investigators noticed the chimney vent above where his glasses and jacket were discovered. This sort of vent is used to connect traditional wood-burning heaters. Curious to see what was in it, he reached into the hole, only for his hand to touch human hair on the other side. There was no doubt about it. That was Harley, stuck in the chimney. Officers quickly dismantled the wall, and sure enough, they found Harley's body inside, with his arms raised above his head. A later autopsy concluded that he likely passed away the day he went missing. His particular position at the time of discovery also helped investigators piece together what might have happened that day. As the story goes, Harley didn't want to go to school that day, So he decided to spend the time at the vacant home until the afternoon to make it seem like he went to school. But when he couldn't find a way in from the ground floor, he climbed onto the roof using the antenna tower beside the house. From there, he looked into the chimney and saw a relatively short drop and chose to climb down it to enter the house.
You're kidding me. This kid didn't want to go to school, so he went across the street into a house that nobody was in because it was a summer vacation house and it wasn't the summer. He goes in the chimney.
However, what he failed to realize was that this chimney didn't lead to a spacious fireplace. Instead, it only connected to a couple of small vents for heater exhausts, leaving him stuck at the bottom. Due to the way he climbed down, his jacket was likely halfway removed already. So he pushed it through the vent to free up some space, and his glasses fell through as well. Sadly, there was nothing else he could do in that position. His chest was pressed tightly against the chimney's wall, making it impossible to breathe, resulting in him slowly succumbing to asphyxiation. Put simply, this was nothing more than a tragic accident. Now, given this conclusion, Harley's case should have ended there. However, some people, especially his YouTube viewers, weren't satisfied with the official report. Many of them believed that this wasn't an accident at all. Rumors started going around the internet that Harley's death was actually a murder committed by his own family. One of the first big points of contention was his jacket, since in one of the evidence images it could be seen hanging from the door. These critics claimed that this was proof of the whole story being a lie.
Wait, okay, so this is the hole to the chimney, right? So he was like right here in the wall. He climbed down the chimney all the way down, then was just right here. He was too hot in there or whatever, so he tried to take his jacket off and he pushed it through the hole. How would it have gotten on this door? Somebody had to have been there with him and hung his...
Some also argued that the shoes he was wearing in his last picture didn't match the ones the investigators found on him. However, despite the skepticism, the police stuck with their initial report. As for the jacket issue, that turned out to be nothing more than the result of one of the inexperienced investigators mistakenly moving key evidence. That said, whatever the truth may be, it doesn't change the fact that the YouTube community lost a genuine and passionate creator.
That is so nuts. This kid didn't want to go to school because he had a lot of family issues and stuff, so he went across the street to the house. He couldn't get into the house, and he was scared like his parents were going to see him on the porch, so he climbs the roof. And he's like, oh snap, I'm going to go down the chimney and then get into the house. He goes in the chimney and he realizes that it's not like a fireplace where like most chimneys goes down and then into the living room. And it's like, oh nice, you got to crawl out. But that was a chimney where it was just, oh no. No.
Nicholas Sonderegger was a 28-year-old YouTuber who loved two things in life, longboarding and dancing. He uploaded nearly 80 videos of himself doing both of these on his channel named Sunspeak, though his ultimate dream was to become a professional dancer. By 2017, he was living in San Diego with his friend Austin to try and make his dream come true. However, the two were completely broke and couldn't afford California's high rent prices. So, with no other option, the two decided to live in tents or random trailers they could find in the Salton Sea area.
What?
Salton Sea used to be a popular tourist destination at one point due to its status as an oasis in the middle of the desert. But the water and the surrounding area became extremely toxic over time, turning it into a complete ghost town.
That's crazy.
On the flip side, this also made living there essentially free, which is what Nick and Austin were after. But what neither of them knew at the time was that the true danger of Salton Sea had nothing to do with its toxic climate. This danger came face to face with the two on the night of September 9th, 2018 at around 2 a.m. They were asleep in their tent when suddenly they were jolted awake by an extremely loud scream coming from the tree line not far from their camp. Fearing for their safety, they decided to just ignore it altogether and go back to sleep. Or that's at least what Austin thought. For some unknown reason, Nick later decided to go investigate the scream on his own after Austin had fallen back asleep. By the time Austin woke up the next morning, Nick was gone.
Oh my god.
He tried looking around for his longtime friend around town and discovered his flashlight lying on the ground just a block away from their tent.
He's dead.
He immediately contacted the police and reported Nick as missing, who began looking for him almost immediately. But all they found was one of his boots, his pants, and his knife sleeve. His other boot, as well as his wallet and keys, were missing. More importantly, Nick himself was nowhere to be found. What made the situation even more bizarre was what happened days later. Austin returned to the same area he had already searched, but this time he found Nick's shirt and hat lying there, items that weren't there before.
What?
In other words, someone had likely placed them in that
Somebody
spot later.
put that stuff
Sadly, the identity of this person was never uncovered, leaving Nick's case a complete mystery to this day.
What?
Nick's family has set up a website with all the information they have. They've also announced a $10,000 reward for any useful information. But
Wait, so he's never been found? Wait, let me get this straight. So there was 2 guys living in like a ghost town. This was a popular town before, but then it all shut down because like, I don't know, people started moving out. So they started living in these abandoned buildings and stuff. It was pretty much free because if there's nobody living there, then like you can just live there, whatever. So they lived there. And then one night they hear like a scream outside. So they're like, what the hell? So they both go look and they're like, okay, we're not going to look at that. That's creepy. So they go back inside and sleep. But then Nick, this guy right here, wakes up and decides to go investigate, even though his friend and him just agreed not to. Then his friend goes to sleep, Nick goes to explore, and is never seen again.
Despite these efforts, the case has remained cold. In fact, there are so few clues that I wasn't even able to find any solid theories either. Some have speculated that Austin might have killed Nick and hidden his body. However, the police investigation uncovered no evidence of foul play. There's still a chance that some unexpected discovery would crack this case wide open. But until then, Nick's disappearance remains an unsolved mystery, and his YouTube channel remains abandoned.
Dude, that's crazy, bro. What's up, dummies? So we're back with some more scary content. Today we're going to be reacting to a video that says 8 most disturbing things caught on doorbell camera. Apparently there's this creepy guy wearing a mask. This was caught on someone's doorbell camera. We're going to see 8 creepy things that were caught on people's Ring doorbells late at night. Try not to pee yourself. Let's go. Boo! Oh my gosh, what the hell, bro? People who wear masks, like, come on, bro. Oh my god, he's got a sledgehammer. I didn't even, or what the hell that is? I don't even know. Let's just watch this.
This first doorbell camera footage was taken in broad daylight. A man in at least his 20s is seen selling candy door to door.
What? Okay, this guy in his 20s is selling candy in broad daylight. I just said we're gonna see doorbell camera at the middle of the night, but this guy's doing creepy stuff during the day? I gotta see this.
With the camera would open the door for the man. She would then proceed to make a purchase, with the actual transaction itself being shown. But shortly after, 3 more men reveal themselves. They were armed and took advantage of the open door by robbing the woman in her own home.
What? This guy set her up? Did he set her up or did he not? No! He's acting like he's selling candy. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude, what? This guy must have known. He just walks away.
The whole operation was a setup, with the man selling the candy being in on it. From the start, the intention was to gain the homeowner's trust to get her to open her front door so that they could rob her at gunpoint. The men swiped some of her belongings and later rushed off.
That's messed up.
A few minutes before this footage was taken, a nearby house's doorbell camera would capture the same man, again seemingly attempting to sell candy. Although, being suspicious, this homeowner wouldn't open the door. Directly after this encounter, the man is shown going up to the house across the street to make another attempt.
This guy was going to every
house. Would also not open the door. The men involved were never caught by police.
Oh my god, they were never caught. Even him, he was never caught, bro. Oh my god, bro. People are wearing masks to mask their identity and do stupid crimes like this. This grown-ass man has nothing better to do with his day. He has no passion, he has no job, he has no drive, he has nothing he wants to complete in life except for robbing from people and acting like he's selling candy. What 25-year-old grown man sells candy for a living? You're a bum. You're a bum. All right, let's see the next one, bro.
This footage was captured on the night of March 7th, 2019.
What the hell?
Shown is a man stepping on a house's front porch and emptying an entire yellow fuel container just in front of the door.
What? Okay, in one of these videos, I saw somebody light somebody's yard on fire, but I've never seen somebody pour gas on somebody's front door. Are you trying to light their house?
The man then attempts to light the fuel using a small lighter.
What? This guy's bugging. This guy's tweaking. This was 2019, it says on the bottom right. March 7th, 2019, bro. Where is this, bro? This gotta be in China, bro. Only weird stuff like this happens in China, bro. I'm never stepping foot in China. I'm never, ever going to China, bro. I don't mess with them. What the hell? He's trying to light this person's front door on fire. What if there's like a dog on the other side of this, like sleeping? Because I know a lot of dogs and cats sleep in front of the door.
Man gives up and just walks away. As
failed?
it turns out, he had mistakenly used diesel fuel rather than regular gasoline.
Oh.
And while gasoline is extremely flammable, diesel fuel is much less so.
Wow.
Had the man used gasoline, and he would have no doubt started the house, along with himself, on fire.
I mean, yeah, bro, low key. Look at all this gas. It ended up being diesel fuel. But if this was all gas, he would have lit himself.
Was a mother and her 2 children. When the mother saw the footage, she would call the police, who would later identify and arrest the man in his house.
They arrested him. That's what you get for living in China,
why
bro.
he did it, the man claimed he had seen a ghost and was trying to get rid of it, suggesting he was most likely under the influence of something.
What? This guy said he saw a ghost?
Attempted homicide and arson.
Alright, he got charged. Okay, so he went to jail. Good. He said he saw a ghost and he was trying to burn the ghost. I'm never going to China, bro. Thankfully, he actually got caught. This is the first time in any of these videos where I've heard that somebody got caught. Normally, they get away with this, so.
February 2, 2022, a contractor in Houston was working at a townhome. At around 6 p.m., the contractor claimed an unknown man that was armed and wearing a mask suddenly appeared inside the townhome with him.
This dude's wearing a monkey mask, bro. You can't make this up, bro. What the hell is wrong with people, bro?
The unknown man proceeded to force the contractor into a bathroom, where he then tied him up by bounding his feet and hands. Afterwards, he rummaged through the townhome for over an hour, all the while listening to a police scanner to verify the police weren't on their way. And this footage captured exactly that.
Bro, they got this on camera? This guy's listening to a police scanner to make sure the police aren't coming, bro. This guy's advanced. What the hell, bro? He goes into this house, puts on this monkey-looking mask. Okay, it's not even a monkey mask. It looked like a monkey mask earlier. That would be creepy. Somebody with a monkey mask on, bro? Where's he going? He's just gonna leave? He just took somebody's
multiple
car?
items belonging to the homeowners, who were out of town at the time, the man found the contractor's keys and drove off with his truck.
Bro.
That now contained everything that he had stolen. The man was never found by police. However, the stolen truck was. It was found 2 days later, unoccupied in a nearby restaurant parking lot. But ever since, nothing else has been found.
Bro, so this guy took a bunch of stuff out of this house when no one was home. He put on this mask. He stole the truck. Then he took the truck to a restaurant. He took all the stuff out. He successfully stole all the stuff and he was never found. They only found the truck. What the hell, bro? Come on, do better police work, bro.
This doorbell footage was recorded in the early morning hours of July 26th, 2019.
Look at this. 4:57 a.m. it says in the
While
corner.
it's not visible in the footage itself, the house just next to the one with the camera had been completely set on fire. And because of how close the houses were, this made the house with the camera at risk of also being set on fire.
What?
Shown in the video are some of the other neighbors desperately trying to warn the homeowners of the threat.
Wow.
Yeah, if their house is on fire.
I know, I'm knocking on the door. There's nobody answering.
Damn, the person wasn't home and their house was on fire. I've seen something like this before. Wow, does this happen often? Do people's houses just catch on fire? What? People's just houses just randomly catch on fire, bro? That's scary, bro. Your house could catch on fire at any moment.
The house next door to you is on fire. Your house is almost on fire.
Okay, thank you.
So get the hell out.
Fortunately, the loud banging was enough to alert the homeowners to the situation.
I mean, dude, if you hear loud banging at 4:57 a.m., you're gonna be like, what the hell?
Get all the children out of the house as quick as possible.
Oh, snap. Oh, okay,
They were
this
then
guy's
brought
a
to one of the
savior.
neighbors' houses across the street.
This guy's
far
a
enough away from the
beast.
fire.
He saved these little
But
kids.
other than some damage to the trees and part of the garage, the house with the doorbell camera was ultimately left untouched.
Wow, that's nice of him. I thought he was gonna run in the house and rob him. What the hell? All right,
This
let's
footage
see
captured an unknown man walking up to the front door of this house. Right away, he leans against the door and tries to open it. He doesn't even knock, but the doorbell camera alerts the homeowner of motion being detected, so the homeowner still gets up to see who it is.
Oh, snap.
Before asking any questions, the homeowner opens the door to see what the man wants. Then, without any hesitation, the man steps inside the house. Naturally, the homeowner saw this as a red flag, and shortly after tells the man he needs to leave. But he didn't listen, forcing the
just
homeowner to have to physically push him out of the house.
No way. I gotta see this. So this guy walks up and he just tries to open the door. It's not even like he didn't even like knock or anything. So he's obviously up to something.
Hello. Hi. How far are you, sir? Who are you? Aaron Reyna. How are you? Good. You need to leave. How far? Out there. What's the stairs going?
What is he saying?
What's the stairs here? Come on, where are you going? What's the stairs here? Goodbye, Q.
What?
As the door is being closed on him, the man forcefully punches the glass on the door. But fortunately, the homeowner was still able to close and lock in. The man then continues to stand at the door, trying the door handle before the video ends.
The dude was saying, like, he's so stupid. What if this guy had a weapon on him, though?
What this man had actually planned is unknown.
Yeah, I think he was just tweaking off the Josh or something, bro. He was just panicking.
This one's gonna be creepy. On the night of August 10th, 2021.
Okay.
A woman is seen returning home from work. She unlocks her door and walks in. But before she can close it again, a man that was armed enters her home just behind her.
Oh my God.
Shortly after, another man can be seen. The two would demand the keys to the woman's car, and after she gave it to them, they would run back outside to where her car was parked, where they would then drive off with it.
No way, bro. Okay, so this girl gets home late after work. She works a long shift at Denny's or wherever she works, Hooters, something like that. And then somebody runs in after her. Look at this.
Como pra fora. Don't move. Don't stare.
These guys took her car keys.
Police were immediately called, and only a couple hours later, they would find the stolen vehicle at a stoplight. They attempted a traffic stop, but the vehicle fled.
Wow.
The high rate of speed and rainy conditions that night made following it almost impossible, so police had to give up. The vehicle is yet to be found, but the two involved in the theft would be found only 2 days later.
Oh, so they never found the car, but they found the people who took the car. I was about to say, no way you let them get away with this.
The one that confronted the woman was charged with home invasion, armed robbery, and motor vehicle theft.
Wow. They got caught. Let's go.
In Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh my God, Arizona, bro. I used to live there, bro. Oh God, my sister lives there, bro.
It's the
watch
middle
out.
of the night, and this was captured on one homeowner's doorbell camera.
Dude, this is the dude from the thumbnail. He's got an axe, and he's got some type of...
A man armed with an actual sword, a hammer, and an axe walked...
This is a sword. He also has a hammer and an axe. Does this guy think he's in Skyrim? This dude's got a hammer, sword, and an axe on him, bro. What type of inventory does he got? He's also stealing stuff, dude. That's exactly what I would do in Skyrim. This dude thinks he's a Khajiit. What the Bro's got a robotic arm. What the hell type of arm is that? I don't know if those are tattoos, but it looks like he's got a robotic arm. This guy's stealing stuff.
At one point, a car drives by, but the man completely ignores it.
The man does not care about the car. Wow, he must be off something. I think he's definitely messed up in the head.
He walks off with his bag filled with stolen items, the sword still being held under his arm.
Wow, that's a sword, bro. Dude, this guy just walks off after stealing a bunch of rock, a bunch of flowers, a bunch of rakes. What are you gonna do with all those garden equipment things, dude? He's just making his inventory even bigger, bro. This dude's got a crazy inventory.
While at work, a man in Florida would receive a message on his phone saying someone rang his doorbell.
What?
When he checked the live feed, this is what he saw.
Oh my gosh.
A man wearing a hat, sunglasses, and bandana is standing at the front door. And disturbingly, he's holding a handgun in clear view.
Bro, this is literally at 1 p.m.
System would ask the man to leave a message for the homeowner.
1 p.m.
He does. He claims he lost his dog and wants to look in the homeowner's backyard for it.
Bro, see, you should already know right there. He used his shirt to press the doorbell. He doesn't want to get his fingerprint on it. Oh my God, you should already know this guy's up to no good, bro. Also, who the hell wears bandana? Like, who masks their face in the middle of the day? It looks like it's hot as hell out. It's 1 o'clock. What a weirdo. What a weirdo.
We can't answer the door right now, but if you'd like to leave a message, you can do it now.
What's he gonna say?
Hey, just wondered if you guys saw Lost Puppy. He's a pit bull.
What the hell? Why does he sound like that? I did not. I expected him to be like, hey, let me in. This guy said, have you seen my lost puppy?
Blue nose.
Blue nose puppy.
I believe he came in your yard, but I don't want to look without your permission.
I don't want to go in your yard without your permission while I'm holding a gun. Bro. Oh my God. Dude. This guy's up to no good.
Hey, you at the wrong house, dog.
Alright.
Bro! Bro, the dude came on the Ring doorbell and said, hey, you at the wrong house, dog. And this guy's like, all right, yeah. And then he's like, wait, should I rob this guy anyway? Because he's talking to me like that? Nah. All right. And he walks away.
After the homeowner came on the speaker and confronted the man, he quickly left with no questions asked.
The hell?
As it turns out, this wasn't the only house he did this to.
Oh my God, he went to another
Police
one.
would state that they had gotten multiple calls with the same description of the man and the exact same story.
Bro.
The man was most likely trying to get homeowners to open their door, where he could then threaten them with his gun, and from there do who knows what.
Oh my God.
In this specific case, he most likely didn't realize the doorbell camera could see his firearm from where he was standing.
Yeah, buddy, we can see it.
Which explains why he would be holding it out in the open by his side. Police weren't able to identify the man because of everything he had covering his face.
Oh my gosh.
Therefore, he has yet to be caught.
He's never been caught, bro. This guy saying, hey, have you seen my dog? Can I come to your backyard? This guy's never been caught, bro. Y'all, be on the lookout, bro. This is creepy.